down. Integrity is expensive because it refuses every discount. Tweet that to somebody who keeps bargaining with their conscience. Integrity is costly because it has one price, full price. No coupons, no clearance rack, no just this once. The scripture says a good name is to be chosen rather than great riches, Proverbs 22:1. Why? Because riches can be replaced, your name cannot. Your name is your signature on reality. Your name is your currency of trust. And trust only spends when integrity backs it. So here is my first diagnostic for your soul. Are you for sale? Don't answer me with your resume. Answer me with your predecisions. Every heart has a hidden price tag until it decides to remove itself from the market. This year, the offer will come. Maybe quietly, maybe publicly, but it will come. It might come dressed in a promotion, wrapped in a private message, hidden in a favor, strolling in as an opportunity that does not need receipts. The tempter never brings a pitchfork. He brings a discount. He tried to discount Jesus. All these I will give you if you will fall down and worship me. Matthew 4:9. One bowl for all the kingdoms? That's a bulk discount on destiny. But the king of integrity paid full price with obedience. Write this down. The devil sells shortcuts. God sells principles. You can ignore a principle, but you can never disagree with it. Jump off a roof and gravity will counsel you on the way down. The integrity of the upright guides them, but the unfaithful are destroyed by their duplicity. Proverbs 11:3. Guidance or destruction, both are expensive, but only one invoice preserves your name. Character is not what you claim. It is what you refuse when the reward is attractive. Not what you preach, what you can't be paid to do. Honesty is not your best policy. Honesty is your only policy. Character is self-imposed discipline, deciding I will be the same person everywhere, every time. That's integrity. Oneness. The Lord our God is one. Be one. If you need secrecy to do it, you already know it's for sale. Expect escalating tests. First, a tiny edit to the report, no one will notice. Then, a gift from the vendor. That's just how business is done. Then, a late night text. You deserve to feel alive. The scenarios will get closer to home, more plausible, more uncomfortable. Compromise rents you by the hour and evicts you in public. The lease always ends in loss. So write it down. Refuse the first discount and you close the store to the rest. Let me make it uncomfortably practical. If someone offered to clear your debt with one unethical signature, are you for sale? If the door to influence opened with one lie, are you for sale? If affection arrived without covenant but with chemistry, are you for sale? Answer now, before the auctioneer starts the bidding. Lead with your life. Say it out loud. Not for sale. This year, decide your price is priceless. Remove the tag. Frame your name. Pay full price for integrity, because the receipt of righteousness will outlast every bargain. Why do we call them characters? Because the alphabet never changes. Write this down. A is always A. B is always B. At 2 a.m., at 2 p.m., in Africa, in Asia, in the Bronx, A does not wake up confused about being A. Numbers don't reinvent themselves either. One is one on a Monday and one is one on a funeral day. That's why we trust mathematics. That's why we teach alphabets to children, because their reliability is the curriculum. Tweet that. Predictability is the proof of integrity. Character, then, is that which is unchanging. Character is simply integrity, oneness. The Lord our God is one. Be one. Holiness is not weirdness. Holiness is wholeness, not fragmented, not seasonal, not audience dependent. Same person everywhere, every time. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Hebrews 13:8. When God calls you to be holy, he is calling you to be one. Write it down. Disintegration is dishonor. Integration is integrity. Charisma is not character. Charisma attracts attention. Character sustains trust. Charisma can fill a room. Character can fill a lifetime. Charisma is perfume. Character is bone. Gifts bring you before great men. Integrity keeps you from falling before them. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. James 1:8. That means two cells create two outcomes: instability and eventual collapse. So let me ask you the only question that predicts your future. Who are you when no one is clapping? Who are you when no one can trace it? Who are you when you could benefit and get away with it? Your Father who sees in secret will reward you openly, Matthew 6:4. There is no such thing as a private life. There are only private seeds waiting for public harvest. Character is self-imposed discipline to be the same under all conditions: time, location, audience, and opportunity. Same report when the boss is present. Same report when they're on vacation. Same browser history when you're traveling. Same boundaries when you're celebrated. Same word when you're in lack. Same word when you're in plenty. That stability is not personality, it is principle. Whoever walks in integrity walks securely, Proverbs 10:9. Security is the reward of sameness. Now, here the transition. If character is unchanging, then every offer is a proposition to change you. Every offer is an invitation to split you, public you over here, private you over there. The deal is not about the money, it's about a new version of you. The flirt is not about the body, it's about purchasing a second self. The promotion without process is not about speed, it's about editing your standards. Write it down. Offers don't buy things, they buy identities. So decide today, lock in your alphabet. Be A at 2 a.m. Be A when the pressure rises. Be A when the applause fades. Lead with your life. Honesty is my only policy. And say it out loud before the offers arrive. I am one. I am not for sale. Write this down. Principles are laws, they never change. Tweet that to your feelings. Feelings fluctuate, principles don't. Gravity didn't wake up this morning and ask your mood for permission. Forever, O Lord, your word is settled in heaven. Psalm 119-89. Settled means final. You can ignore principle, but you can never disagree with it. You can protest gravity with poetry, but if you step off the roof, the lecture will be short. Principles don't take you to court. They execute sentence on sight. Here is the axiom. You don't break principles, principles break you. No one in history ever violated the law of sowing and reaping and got an exemption. Do not be deceived. God is not mocked. For whatever a man sows, that he will also reap. Galatians 6-7. Mocked means challenge. Principles do not accept challenges. You jump, you land, you sow, you harvest, you build on sand, you collapse. Jesus called it out. The house on the rock stood, the house on the sand fell, and great was its fall. Matthew 7:24-27. Rock is principle. Sand is preference. Now apply this to integrity. The hidden cost of compromise is not first public exposure, it is internal fracture. The moment you bend the principle, you bend yourself. A divided soul is a damaged foundation. A house divided against itself cannot stand, Mark 3:25. Compromise splits you into public and private, applause and anxiety, profile and panic. Integrity means one. Compromise manufactures two. The applause might increase, but your peace decreases, and peace is the oxygen of destiny. Write it down. Compromise is not a discount. It is debt with interest. The devil offers you a coupon. The principal offers you an invoice. The loan shark called guilt will collect at midnight. Interest is paid in paranoia. Who knows? Who saw? In insomnia, in the erosion of trust, in the slow bankruptcy of credibility. That cheap signature becomes an overdraft on your name. When you finance success with violation, the repossession agent shows up at the worst possible time. Genesis 8:22 says, as long as the earth endures, seed time and harvest shall not cease. That's a principle. You can delay obedience, but you cannot delay harvest. The only negotiation is whether you pay the cost now in discipline or later in regret. The pain of discipline weighs ounces, the pain of regret weighs tons. Tweet that. God's laws are not to punish you, they are to protect you from you. When you honor a principle, it honors you back with predictability, security, and trust. So here is the sober empowerment, because principles are fixed. The only variable is you, your philosophy, your values, your morals, your ethics, your discipline. The test won't move. You must. Your year will not be determined by the creativity of the offer, but by the rigidity of your standards. Decide to pay in advance. Build on rock. Lock your soul to settle truth. Lead with your life. Honesty is my only policy. There is no such thing as a private life. Write it down. What is hidden is not safe. It is simply undocumented yet. Jesus said, nothing is covered that will not be revealed, or hidden that will not be known. Therefore, whatever you have said in the dark shall be heard in the light. Luke 12:2. Secrecy is not a shield. It is a staging area. Darkness is not protection. It is delay. Tweet that. Time is a witness. Memory is a camera. Consequence is a reporter. They are patient, but they keep appointments. Integrity is integration. One, the Lord our God is one. Be one. Holiness is wholeness. No split identities, no alternate selves, no weekend version. Character is the refusal to live two lives. A is always A at 2 a.m. So are you. That's the audit. Who are you at 2 a.m. when the house is quiet, the phone is lit, the door is locked, and no one is measuring you but you? If you must change locations to change behavior, you don't have freedom, you have fragments. The integrity of the upright guides them, but the crookedness of the treacherous destroys them. Proverbs 11:3. Guidance comes from oneness. Destruction comes from double. Write this down. Secrecy becomes training. Every time you hide, you rehearse being cheaper. Each small concealment is a discount you give your own soul. The first time you delete the text, your conscience protests. The 10th time, it negotiates. Practice does not make perfect. Practice makes permanent. You are discipling yourself into duplicity. You think you are managing a moment. You are manufacturing a version of you that can be rented by convenience. The closet becomes a classroom and the syllabus is compromised. But everything exposed by the light becomes visible. Ephesians 5:13. Eventually, what you train in private performs in public without your permission. Here is the law for your year. If you need secrecy to do it, you already know it's for sale. Tweak that to your temptations. If the door must be closed and the name must be hidden and the story must be edited, the price tag is already on your soul. David said, even the darkness is not dark to you. The night is bright as the day. Psalm 139:12. God does not need your password. Light is his native language. Better to live in the light with fewer options than in the dark with more, because the dark will invoice you later with interest. Let me make it plain. Burner accounts, side conversations, cash deals without receipts, photos that disappear. None of these erase. They only postpone. I tell leaders all the time, God is your witness, time is the journalist, and consequence is the press conference. Lead with your life. Honesty is my only policy. Say it out loud. I will not practice what I cannot preach. The offer this year will not arrive first as a scandal. It will creep in as a manageable secret, a harmless favor, a tiny misclassification on the expense report, a late night compliment that feels like medicine. Those are not moments. They are marketplaces. Your responses there set your price everywhere. So collapse the illusion now. Live loudly. Be the same at 2 a.m. as you are at noon. Seal the cracks before the flood, because once the secret trains you, the test will find you, and only an integrated soul can be bought. Image before dominion. Write it down. That is not poetry, that is protocol. Then God said, let us make man in our image, according to our likeness, and let them have dominion. Genesis 1:26. Notice the order: image, then dominion, likeness, then leverage, character, then power. You can ignore a principle, but you can never disagree with it. Sequence is a principle. If you reverse the order, you reverse the blessing. If you seize dominion without image, the very power you grasp will become the weapon that wounds you. Power does not corrupt. Power reveals corruption. Tweet that. Heat doesn't invent impurities. It exposes them. A spotlight doesn't create dust. It makes it visible. A microphone does not give you a voice. It amplifies the one you already have. Dominion will not change you. It will show you. If you are integrated, dominion magnifies integrity. If you are divided, dominion magnifies duplicity. That's why this is dangerous. Many of you will be promoted this year. You will be platformed, funded, amplified, noticed, algorithm, invited. Doors will open, budgets will grow, followers will multiply. Dominion is increasing. That is both opportunity and audit. And with the platform comes the purchase order. The bigger the stage, the higher the bid for your silence and your loyalty. Write this down. Praise is a market. The crucible for silver and the furnace for gold. And a man is tested by the praise he receives. Proverbs 27-21. Applause is not approval, it is appraisal. People will try to buy your conscience with position, to buy your standards with access, to buy your truth with team spirit. They won't ask you to deny God, they will ask you to delay him. Just not here, just not now, just not about that. That's still a purchase. Dominion is the mall where your soul gets priced. So God, in his mercy, gave us the order, image before dominion. Because power without character is a loaded weapon in the hands of a child. Beautiful, dangerous, and guaranteed to end in sorrow. A car without brakes is not a blessing on a hill. Electricity without insulation does not light a house. It burns it down. Influence without integrity will electrocute your future. Write it down. God protects you by prioritizing you. He will hold back what you can do until he is satisfied with who you are. Do not pray for bigger without becoming better. Do not ask for louder until you are truer. Dominion only turns up the volume. If you are faithful in little, you will be faithful in much. If you are dishonest in little, you will be dishonest in much. Luke 16:10. Dominion is much. It multiplies whatever is in your cup. If it's clean, many will drink and live. If it's toxic, many will drink and die. Lead with your life. Honesty is my only policy. This is why we must confront the test inside before the invitations arrive outside. Because dominion is the magnifier, and the magnifier is coming. So we will expose what must be exposed. The three tests that never miss: power, money, and access to sex. Prepare your image now, because your dominion is already in motion. Write this down. There are only three things that will test your character: power, money, and access to sex. Tweet that to your future. Everything you will face this year will audition through one of those doors. John, the beloved, already summarized the marketplace. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life is not of the Father. 1 John 2:16, lust of the flesh, illicit pleasure. Lust of the eyes, covetous acquisition. Pride of life, self-exalting power. Different packaging, same purchase. Here is how the triad works. Power offers control without maturity. You don't need accountability. You are the exception. Money offers wealth without work. Cut the corner, get the number, and nobody gets hurt. Access to sex offers pleasure without covenant. Take the body. Skip the promise. Each is a shortcut. Each is a counterfeit sacrament. Each promises speed and sells you slavery. Jesus met them in the wilderness, turned stones to bread appetite, jumped from the temple, applause and spectacle, bow for the kingdom's ambition and dominion, Matthew 4:111. He did not negotiate. He quoted principle. You can ignore a principle, but you can never disagree with it. Now, hear the wisdom. These tests rarely announce themselves as temptations. They arrive as opportunities wrapped in compliments and urgency. We need someone decisive, like you just signed it tonight. You deserve to be taken care of. Let me wire it now. You're so misunderstood. Come over and talk where it's safe. Flattery is the sugar on the hook. Urgency is the mask on manipulation. If it must be rushed, hushed, or gushed, it's probably a test. Can a man carry fire next to his chest and his clothes not be burned? Proverbs 6:27. Fire always leaves evidence. Let me pass to you with a question. Which one has the highest leverage on you right now? Don't generalize, locate yourself. Is it the thrill of deciding people's future without being questioned? Is it the number that makes you feel secure, admired, untouchable? Is it the chemistry that promises to medicate loneliness without the covenant that heals it? Who are you at month end when the numbers are short? Who are you at midnight when the room is quiet? Who are you on a stage when applause makes you feel like a god? Write it down. The test that flatters you the most is the one that can buy you the fastest. Every compromise is usually rendered through power, money, or sex, and the lease always ends in loss. You don't own the outcome owns you. The payment plan is paranoia. The penalty is your peace, and repossession is your reputation. The integrity of the upright guides them, but the crookedness of the treacherous destroys them. Proverbs 11:3. Destruction is not an event, it's an escrow account maturing on the compromises you signed in private. So here is our path. We will walk slowly through each test, realistic offers that sound reasonable while they erode your oneness. We will not flirt. We will forensically dismantle the bait. You will pre-locate your weakness so you can preload your no. Because when power says control, you will say character. When money says shortcut, you will say stewardship. When access says now, you will say covenant. Lead with your life. Honesty is my only policy. And say it out loud as we move forward. I am not for sale. Write this down. Power is not permission. Power is responsibility. Tweet that. Character is the only safe governor on power. An engine without a governor destroys itself and whatever it carries. Jesus said, whoever would be great among you must be your servant. Matthew 20:26. Greatness is not control. Greatness is custody. Dominion is not domination. Dominion is stewardship. You can ignore this principle, but you can never disagree with it. Here is how the offer will sound this year: reasonable, flattering, rushed. If you just sign this tonight, we can push it through. If you just stay quiet on that issue, the board will back you. If you distance yourself from those people, you'll be in charge. Hear the subtext. Sell your service for control. Trade your towel for a throne. The devil never asked you to deny Jesus. He asked you to demote his method. But the king knelt and washed feet. John 13:5. Write it down. If your leadership can't kneel, it isn't leadership. The temptation of power is not the title. It is the license you think it gives your ego. To protect your image, you will be tempted to edit truth. To punish your critics, you will be tempted to use policies like weapons. To manipulate outcomes, you will be tempted to choreograph information. Jesus warned the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them. Not so with you. Matthew 20:25-26. Not so with you. That is a line you must draw before the meeting begins. Let me expose the small power discounts that hollow out a soul. Lying to look competent when you should learn I've got it when you don't. Taking credit for a team sweat because your title can reach the microphone faster than their hands can. Silencing truth tellers, muting the honest voice in the room, removing the dissenting note from the minutes, uninviting the prophet who keeps saving you from yourself, gatekeeping budgets to reward loyalty rather than stewardship, using confidential as a cloak for convenience. Those are not management techniques, they are training sessions in tyranny. Catch for us the little foxes that ruin the vineyards. Song of Songs 2:15. Little power compromises spoil great destinies. What then is leadership? True leaders do not seek followers. They serve with their gift. People follow fruit. A mango tree does not visit your house. You go to the tree because it carries what you need. Your gift is your fruit. Your service is your shade. Shepherd God's flock, not lording it over those entrusted to you, but being examples. 1 Peter 5:2. Lead with your life. Honesty is my only policy. So pre-decide now. When the email says sign it tonight, your reply is principles don't rush. When the whisper says silence that voice, your response is wounds from a friend can be trusted. Proverbs 27:6. When the mirror begs protect me, tell your ego God resists the proud but gives grace to the humble. James 4:6. Power is a test of who you serve, yourself or those you were sent to. And hear me, as your pastor coach, power rarely travels alone. It brings an envelope to sweeten your silence, a budget to purchase your bias, a bonus to baptize your shortcuts. That is the next lobby in this mall. But for now, write it down. I will not use authority to protect my ego, punish my critics, or manipulate outcomes. I am not for sale. Here comes the envelope. We'll pay you more, just change the wording, bend the standard, hide the fees, hurt no one, supposedly. Write this down. Money doesn't tempt you with pennies, it tempts you with plausibility. The phrasing will be reasonable. It's industry norm. Everyone does it. We're not lying, we're simplifying. Hear me, a simplified lie is still a lie. Dishonest scales are an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. Proverbs 11:1. God audits weights, not headlines. The offer is not just a number, it is an appraisal of your soul. What is money? A tool, a servant, a terrible master. You cannot serve God and money, Matthew 6:24. Money is not evil, the love of it is. Those who desire to be rich fall into temptation, for the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil, 1 Timothy 6-9-10. Write it down. If money can purchase your conscience, you were never rich, you were just rentable. Tweet that to your future. Rentable souls come cheap at first and expensive forever. The initial payment is flattery. The long-term cost is leverage. Hush money becomes handle money. Whoever pays you to be quiet now owns the volume knob on your destiny later. Let me bring it to your desk. Pad the invoice. Slide this into miscellaneous. Reclassify the gift as consulting. Split the contract. Avoid the review. Delay the expense till next quarter. Add a surcharge. Nobody reads page 7. Each line item is a line crossed. Integrity is expensive because it refuses the discount called a bribe, the coupon called a kickback, the promotion called a padded report. Better is a poor man who walks in integrity than a rich man who is crooked in his ways. Proverbs 28:6. You can make more money, you cannot mint another name. When your name loses weight, your money cannot buy it back. Character is the weight of your words. When the scale of your name is light, every contract becomes heavier to close. Here's your audit question for this year. What amount would make you rationalize disobedience to your own values? Don't say nothing until you priced your pressure. Is it the bonus that cancels the debt? The wire that gets you the house? The check that funds the nonprofit you hide behind to soothe your conscience? Remember, you don't break principles. Principles break you. You didn't steal money. You mortgaged your name. And compounding interest is paid in anxiety. What did I sign? Who knows? How far will they push me next? He who is greedy for gain troubles his own house. Proverbs 15:27. Your house means your people, your spouse, your children, your team. They inherit the tremor in your integrity. So pre-decide. If a deal requires secrecy instead of confidentiality, decline. If a contract needs a euphemism to legalize a lie, refuse. If everyone does it, is the only ethics offered, walk away. Write it down. My values set my valuations. My conscience is not for sale. Lead with your life. Honesty is my only policy. Because if money can buy your silence today, sex will try to buy your secrecy tomorrow, and the consequences run faster. Prepare your no now before desire starts bidding. Now we come to the offer that flatters your loneliness and invoices your destiny access to sex. It will not arrive as evil, it will arrive as empathy. No one will know, it's just one night. You deserve this. Your spouse won't understand. You've been so faithful. Take a reward. Hear me. Rewards don't make you righteous. Write this down. Sexual compromise is never private. It rewrites your identity in secret and bankrupts your future in public. Tweet that to your hormones. He who commits adultery lacks sense. He who does it destroys himself. Proverbs 6:32. Not just his schedule himself. Identity is the casualty. Let's define it. Lust is not love. Lust is appetite. An appetite makes terrible decisions. Esau sold his birthright for a bowl. Many have sold their future for a moment. Love gives, lust grabs. Love covenants, lust consumes. Love protects dignity, lust collects bodies. Flee from sexual immorality. 1 Corinthians 6:18. You don't negotiate with a hungry lion. You don't mentor a fire on your lap. You flee. Jesus raised the bar. Everyone who looks at a woman to lust after her has already committed adultery with her in his heart. Matthew 5:28. That means the transaction begins in imagination long before the hotel key. Write it down. Integrity is alignment. What you say you value must match what you watch, what you click, what you touch. Here is the domino effect the devil doesn't put in the brochure. Secrecy breeds a second self. A second self requires maintenance, lies, cover stories, passwords, locations without witnesses. The second self erodes respect. Respect is the currency of authority. Authority is the engine of destiny. The chain is simple. Secrecy, double life, loss of respect, loss of authority, loss of destiny. Be sure your sin will find you out. Numbers 32-23. Not because God hates you, but because principles are patient accountants. Your body is a temple, not a timeshare. 1 Corinthians 6:19-20. Write that down. The bed is holy when the covenant is holy. Marriage is honorable among all, and the bed undefiled. Hebrews 13-4. Covenant is not a wedding photo. It is a boundary that protects wholeness. Holiness is oneness. When you give your body where you have not given your name, you disintegrate. You train your soul to separate pleasure from promise, intimacy from integrity, chemistry from covenant. Practice does not make perfect. Practice makes permanent. Soon your conscience lowers its voice and your appetites raise theirs, and what felt like freedom becomes a leash. Let me be a pastor to your phone, your calendar, your routes, late night DMs, business trips without boundaries, innocent lunches with unresolved chemistry. These are not coincidences, they are corridors. If you need a locked door to do it, you already know it's for sale. If it requires titles like spiritual daughter, mentor, executive assistant to baptize proximity, you're not pastoring, you're posturing. Can a man take fire in his bosom and his clothes not be burned? Proverbs 6:27, fire leaves evidence. So pre-decide. Eyes are covenanted. Hands are covenanted. Heart is covenanted. Say it out loud. I am one. I do not rent my body to my appetite. I do not borrow another's body to medicate my loneliness. Lead with your life. Honesty is my only policy. Because this year, the offer will look like kindness in a crisis, comfort after a quarrel, companionship on a trip, privacy behind a title. But you are image before dominion. You are character before chemistry. 2 men met this offer with 2 different prices. One flirted with the transaction until his hair and history were both cut. The other fled the room and kept his throne before he had one. Same opportunity, different outcomes. We will learn from them. But for now, write it down. Appetite will not author my future. Covenant will. 2 men, same offer, different price tags. Write it down. Uncompromisable people don't flirt with the offer. They flee the transaction. Samson played with boundaries. Joseph ran from the room. That's the whole sermon in a sentence. Tweet that. Let's visit the barber chair of compromise. Samson knew his vow. He wore it on his head. Nazarite, set apart, one, but he confused gift with character and strength with exemption. He kept strolling in the Philistine bedroom saying, just this once, until just this once became his lifestyle. Judges says after Delilah shaved him, he awoke and said, I will go out as at other times and shake myself free. But he did not know that the Lord had left him. Judges 16:20. Write it down. The most dangerous sentence in destiny is as at other times. Repetition dulls reverence. Flirting trains you to mistake patience for permission. Samson didn't fall in a night. He negotiated in inches secrets, traded for kisses, consecration discounted for company, until his hair, his eyes, and his freedom were all receipts. Temptation was not the problem. Negotiation was. Say it to yourself. My negotiation is my price. Now look at Joseph. Same geography, Egyptian house, same offer, unauthorized access, different movement. Potiphar's wife grabbed his garment and said, lie with me. Joseph didn't schedule a counseling session with his hormones. He didn't check the calendar to see if anyone was home. He said, how then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? And when she persisted, scripture says he left his garment in her hand and fled and ran outside. Genesis 39:9-12. Write it down. He didn't debate. He departed. Words draw maps. Feet make decisions. Are you for sale? Don't answer with your mouth. Answer with your movement. What you repeatedly approach is what you are pricing. What you back away from is what you are protecting. Here's the maxim for your year. If you must manage it, you are already too close. Remove it. Tweet that to your calendar. Management is negotiation with a snake. Joseph lost a coat but kept his name. Samson kept his body in the bed and lost his future in a prison. Price tags are hidden in movement. Joseph's flight cost him an accusation and a cell. But the invoice of integrity matured into authority. Pharaoh said, only in regard to the throne will I be greater than you, Genesis 41-40. Samson bargains paid in blind, grinding at an enemy's mill. Your Potiphar's wife may not wear perfume. She might ping your DMs at midnight. She might show up as a quick Zoom after hours, a late meeting but low lighting, a lonely flight but no accountability, a friendly hand on your shoulder after a fight at home. This year, answer with your feet, relocate your desk, change your route, decline the trip, move the meeting to 10 a.m. with windows and witnesses, block the number, delete the thread, remove the corridor, flee youthful lust and pursue righteousness. 2 Timothy 2:22. Flee and pursue movement both ways. Write it down. Image before dominion means exit before excuse. If you need a story to explain why you stayed in the room, you stayed too long. Leave with your life. Honesty is my only policy. Say it out loud. I will not negotiate with the offer. I will flee the transaction. Now hear me. The reason Joseph could run in a moment is because he was anchored long before the moment. You don't win in the hallway. You win in the heart. Write this down. Philosophy produces values. Values produce morals. Morals shape ethics. Ethics form character. Character becomes lifestyle. That is the cascade. That is the conveyor belt of your destiny. Guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it flow the issues of life. Proverbs 4:23. The heart is where philosophy lives. The beliefs you carry about God, about yourself, about people, about purpose. Change your beliefs and your future changes direction. What is philosophy? It's simply your belief system, your map of reality. From that map, you get values, what you call important, what you treat as non-negotiable. From values, you get morals, your personal right and wrong before God. From morals, you get ethics, the rules you agree to practice in public, in systems, in teams. From ethics, you get character repeated, disciplined alignment with what you say you believe. From character, you get lifestyle, the predictable pattern of your days. Tweet that. Lifestyle is just character on repeat. Why do people fall? They try to fix behavior without rebuilding values. They download filters, craft apologies, switch cities, change phones, but the philosophy remains untouched, the values unexamined, so the lifestyle collapses again under pressure. You don't fall in a moment, you drift through a value system that stopped enforcing itself. Jesus said the wise man built on rock, not sand. Matthew 7:24-27. Rock is not emotion, rock is conviction. Sand is preference. Preference moves when the tide of pressure comes in. Conviction stands. Write it down. Vision without values is destiny without discipline. Vision gets you excited. Values keep you exact. Everybody loves a picture of the future. Very few will pay the price of principles. Romans 12:2 says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. That's philosophy. Renew the root, reform the fruit. A good man out of the good treasure of his heart brings forth good things. Matthew 12:35. Treasure means values. What you treasure determines what you produce. How do you locate your values? Don't ask your mouth. Audit your movement. What you repeatedly protect, pay for, and pursue reveals what you truly value. Look at your calendar, what gets guarded. Look at your bank statement, what gets funded. Look at your browser and your bookmarks, what gets pursued. If you protect secrecy, you value hiding. If you pay for growth, you value wisdom. If you pursue applause, you value image. There is no such thing as a private life. Your private philosophy is your public future on delay. So here is our pivot. If values form character, then the fastest way to become unbuyable is to pre-decide your standards. Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself. Daniel 1-8, he decided before the menu arrived. Pre-decision is protection. Lock yourself in the prison of your convictions, and you will always be free in tempting rooms. Leave it your life. Honesty is my only policy, because when the offer comes, and it will, your philosophy will already have written the answer. You won't improvise, you will implement. You won't negotiate, you will enforce what you value. Write this down. The safest place you will ever live is the prison of your convictions. Character is not emotion. Character is self-imposed discipline. Character is standards enforced by you, especially when no one is watching. Let your yes be yes and your no, no. Matthew 5:37. That is not a mood, that is a mandate. You can ignore this principle, but you can never disagree with it. Decisions made in peace protect you in pressure. Pre-decisions remove negotiation. So we establish vows, not suggestions, vows. Say them with me and write them where your future can read them. I do not tell lies. I do not steal. I do not cheat. I do not touch what isn't mine. I do not enter rooms that require me to hide. I do not spend what I cannot explain. I do not sign what I have not read. I do not watch what undoes my worship. Job said, I made a covenant with my eyes. Job 31:1. Psalm 119:106 says, I have sworn and confirmed that I will keep your righteous judgments. Sworn and confirmed, twice bound. That is how you lock the door of your destiny and throw away the spare key. Why does this work? Because the offer always comes with time, pressure, and flattery. Just tonight, quick call, no one will know. When your standards are already signed, time has no leverage and flattery has no purchase. Urgency can't bully a predecision. Joseph did not compose theology in the hallway. He acted on convictions he carried from home. Jesus didn't debate the devil. He declared, it is written. Write it down. When desire starts bidding, you don't need a new idea, you need an old decision. Tweet that to your midnight. Locking yourself into convictions is not legalism, it is leadership of the self. Leaders limit options on purpose so greatness has room to grow. Gates do not imprison a city, gates protect a treasure. A vow is a gate. A boundary is a blessing. Double-minded people are unstable in all their ways, James 1-8. Decide once so you don't have to decide every time. Put your life on autopilot where it counts. If the door is closed and curtains are drawn, I leave. If the wording is vague and the numbers feel greased, I decline. If my heart rate spikes around that person, I create distance. These are not hunches. These are hard rules. Wisdom writes instructions to your future so feelings can never edit them. Make it written, sign it, date it, read it aloud, give it to your spouse, to a mentor, to a board you respect. Joshua said, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Joshua 24-15. That was not a suggestion to his living room. It was a contract with his lineage. There is no such thing as a private life. A vow is a public fence you place around your private future. Ecclesiastes 5-4 warns, when you make a vow to God, do not delay to pay it. Payment looks like practice. Practice until your mouth and your movement match. Now hear the transition. Convictions must be guarded by architecture, your environments, your roots, your routines. If you keep corridors open, the old offers will keep visiting. You don't outgrow temptation, you outdistance it. So after we sign the vows, we will redesign the house. Remove access, remove triggers, remove enablers, lead with your life. Honesty is my only policy. Because the uncompromisable life is built by decisions made in advance before desire starts bidding and then defended by the walls you build around what you've already decided. Next, we cut the supply lines. Now we cut the supply lines. Write it down. If you keep the access, you're rehearsing the fall. Tweet that. Romans 13:14 says, make no provision for the flesh. Provision means supply. If you keep the pipeline, don't be shocked when temptation keeps arriving on schedule. Jesus said, if your right eye causes you to sin, pluck it out. If your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off. Matthew 5:29-30. That is removal logic. Not counseling for the eye, not negotiation with the hand. Cut the supply. Let's get practical. Some friendships are not relationships. They are distribution channels for temptation. They deliver what your weakness orders. He who walks with wise men will be wise, but the companion of fools will be destroyed. Proverbs 13:20. Do not be deceived. Bad company corrupts good morals. 1 Corinthians 15:33. If every time you leave them, you have to repent, you found a supplier. If a person is a corridor to the old you, block the hallway. You can love people and still limit access. Love is a command. Access is a stewardship. Now apply the blade. Delete the app that helps you hide. If the messages disappear, your character will too. Remove late night routines that seduce your willpower. Go to bed on purpose. Charge the phone in the kitchen. Protect the bedroom like a sanctuary. Close hidden accounts, the private email, the second number, the secret browser. Stop private meetings that require you to invent stories. Avoid it. Do not travel on it. Turn away from it and pass on. Proverbs 4:15. Innocent flirting is not innocent. It is rehearsal. Change your route. Move the meeting to the morning with windows and witnesses. Replace solitary flights with a traveling partner. Never do anything you don't want anyone to find out about. Say that with me. That is not paranoia. That is principle. Pruning feels like loss, but it is protection of destiny. Every branch that bears fruit, he prunes that it may bear more fruit. John 15:2. More fruit requires fewer distractions. Abraham separated from Lot and vision cleared. Genesis 13:14. And I coached a CEO, call him David, who cut a lucrative client because the client demanded creative reporting. Revenue dipped for a quarter, trust surged for years. 5 larger contracts came because his name weighed more than their numbers. Write it down. Pruning looks like subtraction now, but it is multiplication later. You are not losing friends, you are losing suppliers. You are not losing convenience, you are losing corridors. This is bigger than you. People eat the fruit of your life. Your spouse eats it, your children eat it, your team eats it. A tree that refuses pruning feeds worms. Leaders, pastors, parents, politicians, your boundaries are someone's shelter. There is no such thing as a private life. What you tolerate in secret trains those who trust you in public. Lead with your life. Honesty is my only policy. Say it out loud. I cut the supply lines to protect my assignment. I remove people, places, and patterns that sell me out. So close the door, cancel the meeting. Block the number, change the route, because if you keep the access, you're rehearsing the fall. And when the corridors are cleared, trust can find you ready to carry more without collapsing. Now that the corridors are cleared, hear me, elevation is not about exposure, it is about endurance. Write this down. Trust is the currency of influence. People do not follow titles, they follow trust. Trust is simply confidence in your consistency, your predictability under pressure. It is required in stewards that one be found faithful. 1 Corinthians 4:2. Faithful means the same yesterday, today, and when the offer arrives. Your influence is only as strong as your integrity because trust rests on what doesn't change. Tweet that. Let me be clear. Public success with private fracture is a countdown to collapse. Talent can open doors, but only character can keep them open. Gifts can get you promoted, only integrity can keep you there. A good name is to be chosen rather than great riches, Proverbs 22:1. You can make more money, you cannot mint another name. I have watched politicians, preachers, and parents lose in 5 seconds what took 20 years to build because they discounted character. Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. Proverbs 16:18. When the fall arrives, it does not ask for your schedule. It cuts the lights. Write it down. Instant compromise creates instant collapse. How then does leadership grow? Not by chasing people, but by serving them. Your gift is your leadership fruit. Trees don't chase people, fruit draws them. When your life produces honesty, diligence, purity, courage, people will find you. You won't need marketing when your name can carry weight. Jesus said, "Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father." Matthew 5:16. Light shines, it doesn't shout. Fruit attracts, It doesn't advertise. The most persuasive sermon you will ever preach is the predictability of your character. Lead with your life. Write this down. Trust his compounding interest on integrity. Every kept promise pays dividends. Every honored boundary adds equity. He swears to his own hurt and does not change. Psalm 15:4. That is leadership. When you keep your word, even when it costs, people put their future in your hands. That is why God said image before dominion, character before power. Genesis 1:26. Power will magnify whatever you are. If you are consistent, it multiplies trust. If you are double, it multiplies damage. There is no such thing as a private life. Your private truthfulness is the scaffolding of your public authority. So ask the leader in your mirror 3 questions. Am I reliably the same person when no one is watching? Can those I lead predict my ethics under pressure? Do my results rest on secrets or on standards? You can ignore these principles, but you can never disagree with them. Gravity doesn't care about your resume. Neither does integrity. Here is our transition to sealing this year. The question is not whether the offers will come: power, money, access to sex. They will come. The only question is whether you have decided your price. If your answer is not for sale, trust will find you, follow you, and fund you. Next, we put it in writing. Honesty is my only policy. Lead with your life. Now we seal it. Not next week. Now. The offers are already on the calendar looking for an opening: power, money, access to sex. So we conduct the final audit. Answer the question out loud. Are you for sale? Don't whisper to your feelings. Declare it to your future. Write this down. Integrity is expensive because it refuses every discount. Therefore, it is priceless. Tweet that to your ambition. The integrity of the upright will guide them. Proverbs 11:3. If integrity is your compass, pressure won't be your pilot. Name your vulnerability. Where is your negotiation the strongest? Power, do you like control more than service? Money, does a number make your name nervous? Sex, does attention intoxicate your judgment? Write it down. Circle the loudest one. Confession locates the leak so you can seal it. Search me, O God, and know my heart. See if there is any wicked way in me. Psalm 139:23-24. Don't be vague. Be surgical. Are you for sale in that corridor? Answer with a price. Not for sale at any price. Now, the covenant. Take out a page. Title it, My Non-Negotiables. Date it. Sign it. Make it a contract between you and God. Ecclesiastes 5:4 warns, when you make a vow to God, do not delay to pay it. Write statements, not suggestions. I do not lie. I do not hide. I do not take what is not mine. I do not spend what I cannot explain. I do not mentor what I should flee. I do not manage secret doors. I am image before dominion, character before power. Genesis 1:26. Then sign it. Give a copy to the person who can confront you without flattery. Place another in the book you open every morning. You can ignore this principle, but you can never disagree with it. Written vows build visible walls. Here is your daily practice. Morning integrity check 5 minutes before noise. Hand on heart. Declare, I am one. My yes is yes. My no is no. Today, I will not negotiate with power, with money, or with sex. He who is faithful in what is least is faithful also in much. Luke 16:10. Evening transparency. Review 5 minutes of truth. Where did I shade? Where did I hide? Whom do I need to confess to now? Close the gap today. Don't manage a double life. Mend it before it multiplies. If the review exposes a crack, call the person, clear the story, change the access, same day, no delay. Hear, O leader, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Deuteronomy 6:4. Be like your source, be one. Live loudly, live clean, live whole. There is no such thing as a private life. Your secret alignment is your public authority on delay. If you will not sell, God will trust you. If God can trust you, people will. Say it again out loud and write the date beside it. I am not for sale. Lead with your life. Honesty is my only policy. And when the offers come, and they will, you won't improvise. You will implement your covenant. That is how trustworthy leaders are born.